Welcome back, guys. Today, I want to talk about why Emu and Joy Boy are Elizabeth and Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins. I was just recently rewatching Seven Deadly Sins, or not really rewatching. I was kind of like reading through it and stuff, and I just, I just kind of remembered that like Meliodas was cursed with eternal life by the supreme deity, and Elizabeth was cursed with perpetual reincarnation by the Demon King, which honestly is basically Emo and Joy Boy. Because Joy Boy keeps reincarnating, or I don't know if you would say Joy Boy or Nika, but let's just go with Joy Boy for this one. Joy Boy just keep reincarnating as like a new person. Like there's like everybody that I would assume everybody that eats the gum gum fruit like gets like a piece of Joy Boy and like has to carry out the history and the failure that he came with. It hasn't been proven that like that they get the memories from like the past Joy Boys or whatever, but which honestly kind of validate this theory because Elizabeth every time she gets rebirthed into like a new different person, well same person like like different memories, I guess, because she does not get her memories from when she was a goddess until she is reminded of that and her powers come back. When her powers start coming back, you know, when she awakens her goddess power is when she usually unlocks her memory of like, you know, the war that she faced with Meliodas and all of that, you know, which honestly could be the same thing here because I mean, Luffy hasn't shown anything that like he remembers anything that Joy Boy has done, but Luffy just got into Awakening Gear 5. He's not really, I wouldn't say he's really in that bag yet, for real, because like right now he has a major stamina fucking problem. He can barely stand in Gear 5 for like, I don't think that like he has stood in there for like 30 minutes to an hour maybe, because when he was fighting the Gorosei, like he was in and out. When he was fighting the Gorosei, Kizaru, like he was in and out. He needs constant fuel to like maintain that form. I mean, like if you probably put a mountain of food by Luffy, like how did like in what's the anime called Magi? Like in Magi, how they had their gin equipped, and then like I think it was like I forgot his name. Whatever the other guy other than Sinbad, the leader of the Core Empire, I believe, the Core Empire, like he brought out a volcano so that everybody who had, well, it was just only him and Alibaba, I believe, that had like a fire gin equip and stuff. So everybody that had a fire gin equip, they could use the lava to replenish their their mana. Do they use mana? I'm not sure. I gotta go back and fact check this, but like they could go back and like replenish the energy and like keep firing attacks and keep firing attacks and like not worry about like running out of energy basically. So Luffy could somebody Sanji could be goaded and just constantly just have food because like honestly at this point I don't think there's much for Sanji to do unless Emu comes in and like you know free Summers and what's the other guy name? We're gonna forget about the other guy for now. But unless like Emu frees them and like let them free to cause, which I do not see the point of it. They've been beaten pretty easily, and I believe like if they're released again, that's the same thing that's gonna happen. But the point I'm trying to get to is that yeah, if Sanji is free to do whatever. He could be constantly bringing Luffy food, so Luffy does not run out of energy, while Luffy and Loki focus on the battle with Emu. Could be something. But Emu is like Meliodas, so like if you see in the contrast, Joy Boy would be Elizabeth with the perpetual reincarnation, and then Emu will be Meliodas with the eternal life, which honestly kind of matched because Emu is the king of the world and Meliodas was technically king of the demon world after he defeated the demon king. So do with that information what you will. But one thing that Meliodas had with his curse is that every time he died, he had eternal life, but he still died. Just like Emu. Like I would say that, you know, with the Covenant pack and everything, they still die, but they just regenerate. You know, so Meliodas still died, and then he went to purgatory, which in purgatory the demon king actually fed on his emotion. His dad actually fed on his emotion. What if it's the same thing for Emu? You know, the more Emu like has been like through this 800 years, the more Emu has maybe gotten hurt. I don't know if there was anybody else that has gotten up there to Emu and hurt him, but like let's just say like the attack that like all the big dogs did on him on God Valley, probably like probably that was a death. They said that was a death. So the more times he gets like hurt like that, the more he loses emotion. Which honestly could be said the same about the Holy Knights. The more they get regenerated and regenerated, that's why they're kind of pieces of shit. That could make sense. That's why they're kind of pieces of shit. The more they get regenerated, and like they're fucking regen marching, so like that would make sense. Because if you just keep getting regenerated, you would lose like a part of you. Like I would think like you would lose a part of you. You can't just sit here and constantly getting regenerated with no consequences. There has to be consequences. Every power has a drawback. Usually, usually, we just haven't seen the drawback for the constant regeneration in this yet. But hopefully, we will soon. But like that's what I wanted to get into, like the perpetual reincarnation and the eternal life. Pretty short video. Yeah. But I guess you could say this theory would not be fully grounded because like Elizabeth and Meliodas were technically lover and like they were cursed so that like they wouldn't be able to like love each other because if Meliodas went and told Elizabeth about her past, then she would regain her memory and then within 3 days she would die and then reincarnate all over again with no memories again. Like she reincarnated what like they said 107 times or something like that. Something like that. So far I think we had mean, if you're counting the original Nika, because we're assuming Joy Boy had the same ability as Luffy, right? Like the Nika Devil Fruit or the human fruit model Nika. We assume that Joy Boy had that same ability as Luffy. If we count Luffy, if we count Nika, Joy Boy, and then was there another person that awakened the Nika Devil Fruit 200 years ago? Because remember Emmett awakened 200 years ago and attacked the Holy Land. So was that possibly another person who awakened the Nika fruit 200 years ago? So that could be a third. So far we've had four reincarnations of Nika slash Joy Boy, which gives even more weight to my theory. Perpetual reincarnation. Every time they get reincarnated, they don't have the memories of the war, but we're assuming that they have the same sense of justice that Joy Boy and Luffy do to like bring freedom to the world, because they're the sun god of liberation, the drums of liberation, everything, So we're assuming everybody that's in that fruit has that mentality to some extent. So if there was one that was that awakened, like especially if they awaken, like devil fruit usually go like I think Kaido said that like your devil fruit does not awaken unless like your goals and ambition matches with the devil fruit, right? Something like that. Like unless you like vibe with your devil fruit. Let's say that you vibe with your devil fruit. You can't awaken it unless you vibe with it. Because if your devil fruit don't vibe with you, you're not gonna awaken it. Because everybody been theorizing that like why is Kaido not awakened? Because is Kaido awakened? Because technically it's the fish fruit, but like he never started as a fish. He ate the fruit and was a dragon right away. So the Kaido awakened his. You know what? I'm gonna save that for another video. Let's not get into that one. I'm gonna save that for another video for real. But on Meliodas, like I don't know. There's a lot of connections to it because like Meliodas is a demon. Emu got the devil fruit. Devils are another word for demons. It's like there's a lot of connections here. There's a lot of leeway around it. Like they kind of match each other, like in a sort of way, because Meliodas, the Demon King, wanted Meliodas to rule the demon world, but then he ended up falling in love with Elizabeth and trying to stop the Holy War and not defeat the goddess race. Which, let's say, maybe Emu just need his Elizabeth, Joy Boy. He's not a bad guy at heart. He's not a bad guy at heart. He just had his emotion taken away from him how many times he died. They say he's not a bad guy at heart. He just needs somebody to come liberate him. You know? Like just put some sun in his life. He's been stuck in the darkness for so long. Like he was a shadow into like the most recent chapter. He was he was just a shadow. Like is that even his form? Is that his actual form? And like is this like form that we're seeing his devil fruit power? Did he just come like it looked like he transformed when he got there? So like is this just his devil fruit power and like he's just a shadow? Because if he's just a shadow, then like even more weight on my theory because it's like you need to get my boy back. You need to save this boy. You know? Like we're over here making him now to be the bad guy, but he might not even be the bad guy. He might be the good guy that just turned into a bad guy. We just need Elizabeth to come slap him with some goddess slap, We need Joy Boy to come hit him with that sun god power. Slap some sun into him and like shine some light in his face so he doesn't be a shadow anymore. That's all we need. That's all we need. This is me. That's what we need from Emu. Emu, you know what? I'm locking it down. Emu's not a bad guy. He's just misguided. Emu's not a bad guy. Yes, he's destroyed countries. Probably over. Yeah, he's probably done a lot of things over the 800 years that like he's been alive and Joy Boy has not. But he's not a bad guy. He was just misguided. I'm locking it in. He's just misguided. Joy Boy is Emu's best friend that's gonna come save him out the darkness. I'm locking it in. See you guys on the next video.